It's
Welcome.
Jodi-day. Yeah, it's Jodi-day. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hi, Dave. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Woke up a little late today after my stream last night, but we made it through 2 hours. No, we made it through 3 hours of a trial over a 6.5 hour stream. So it
Yeah.
was kind of a baker stream,
Yeah.
but other than that, it was good.
Yeah.
Jodi-day. Yes, I see Melissa in the chat. It is
Yeah.
Jodi-day today.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hi, Sal. Hi, Malcolm, Melissa. It's me, Josie, Christine, Wesley, Porcelain, Farrell, Bass. Am I forgetting someone?
I'm
Yeah,
surprised
and
Farrell's up. That's
Jody
all.
and Melissa. Yeah. I had great numbers in my streams and the Dinkins trial while on the verdict watch. And I think
That's
it's
just an all
because,
around weird case.
yeah, and I understand everybody who really wants him convicted, but I'm still scared because, in my opinion, and I said this in that stream, and people might agree with me or not, but I think the prosecution might just have muddled the water too much.
Yeah. By the way, don't forget, we are dual streaming this. So
Yeah,
if you are watching on my stream, I have a link to Nicholas's stream pinned at the top of the chat, and vice
yeah,
versa. He's got a link pinned at the top from my stream. So you
yeah.
can give us both a little thumbs up, some watch hours, all that good stuff.
Hmm?
And you won't miss anything because we're streaming it together.
Yeah, exactly. As we do every Tuesday, every Saturday, noon Eastern time, and 6 p.m. Swedish time. It's
Hey,
it's Yodi Day.
it's Jodi-day. Yeah, and so we're finishing up day 15, which for some reason is taking a long time. There's like a lot of actual testimony. Usually our days, we do essentially it's one day of testimony per week, split up
Mhm.
over 2 days. But this one's taking a while, so we actually have to do a part three. I don't know how far we will get. Someone was asking me if we're going to get to her sexy messages or sexy tape,
Mm.
recorded phone calls that they had with each other. I don't know. I don't know where that comes in.
Yeah, I have a vague recollections. It was day 16 or 17.
So I was thinking. I don't think it's today. I think it's
Yeah,
it's day 16.
yeah.
But we'll have some more shenanigans from her, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, we will. Yes, we will. And what else is going? Tomorrow I'm going to a Swedish football game. It's Malmö FF against IFK Gothenburg,
It's okay. You can just
and
call it soccer.
yeah, soccer. And yeah, but I would prefer European football because we actually play the ball with the feet.
The problem I have with soccer is that they play for 90 minutes and you barely get a score in. I feel like it would be more competitive if, first of all, if you could pick up with the ball and run with it. And then also, instead of the little tiny goal at the end, let's just make it the whole end of the field. So if you could pick up the ball and just run to the end of the field, we'd be fine.
Yeah, there are. We have American football in Sweden as well.
Do you?
Not
I
yeah.
feel like I can make that team.
I'm not sure because they're quite good. They are winning the European Championships
Really? Are
once in
they
a while.
playing now? Is it American
Yeah,
football season in Sweden right now?
yeah, it is. Let me
Ooh, I'm gonna
check.
get some tickets. I know what I'm filling my week out with. By the way, for those who don't know, I will be in Sweden, in Nicholas's homeland next week, and so we're planning a get together, and I think we'll probably do a live stream. That'll be fun,
Mm,
and when we're together, and hopefully Baker can join us as well, since he's not terribly
mm,
far away. Christine, yes, I got your email.
mm.
Your channel's been shared out there, so hopefully you're getting some subs.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I found the homepage
Josie, soccer
for.
is not fun to play. I'm sorry. It's like running with extra steps, right? I mean, you're just constantly running.
Mm.
but you have extra work to
Yeah.
think about and do.
So here you have the Swedish homepage.
Nice. Where do they play out of? Stockholm, I bet.
You have Stockholm. You have well, it's
Do they have a game in Copenhagen? Because I could get there easier than Stockholm.
well, you can Limhamn is in Malmö, so would
Oh,
be quite easy as well.
yeah,
But
that's
I
right there.
don't see here when the next game is. Let's just
Oh,
see.
wait, September 3rd.
September 3rd, but that is under 15,
Oh,
I think. Yeah, and yeah. The names are, well, they are trying to have American names, but I'm not sure. Kristianstad Predators. It, yeah, under
sad to say.
15. I mean, yeah, I watch way too much trials for that. For that name might have a, well,
The Predators for under 15 only. Just
yeah,
has a
might not.
kind of a bad ring to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Good job, Swedes.
yeah. Uh,
Hey, Valhalla's in the chat.
Hey, Valhalla. Hey, good to see you. Yeah, so there are a bunch. Well, they have a bunch of Stockholm team and stuff like that. But yeah, so
Very cool.
we can check that out if they are playing while you are down here. But we are not here for American football. We are
Matt
not
says the
here
next game
for
in
Swedish
Copenhagen is
American
the 16th.
football.
Yes.
Okay.
We are here for Jodi. It is Jodi-day. The
It
fantastical Jodi Arias and all of her legs and all of her trial and all of her holes.
Yeah. And yeah, all of her is entered into evidence. So
Imagine
and
just
now
sitting there in court. I mean, this is a court proceeding and seeing that up on the screen. That's got to be a little rough.
yeah, yeah. But let's see. We have 1 hour. I don't know if there will be any break, so maybe we even can get to a bit of day 16 today.
That'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But all right, are we all ready? Are you ready to?
Rumble.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah,
say that. That's copyright.
yeah. I know. Let's get ready for Jodi. And they score. Yeah. Let's. Oh, okay. I have to thank my. Again, I have to thank my members and the super chatters who got me my new microphone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
it is a Yeti microphone. So yeah, no more speaking into the webcam microphone.
Accidentally without knowing it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. And like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. But now it's time for Jodi.
For those who don't know, just to begin with, was there something of historical importance in Kansas City
Not in Kansas City, but that was the nearest major airport.
to this Navajo, Illinois?
No, to the sites in Missouri.
Okay. So how long a trip is this to be?
I don't remember how many days, but we
I'm a bit
left
thirsty
a few
today.
days
Can't
early
imagine
to
why.
see those sites and then fly to, or maybe drive to Oklahoma City, where our convention was in the spring.
Okay. And your boyfriend and girlfriend at this time as well, right?
Yes.
How official. You give her leather jacket and everything.
You go to Kansas City. Is there a difference in his behavior in terms of how publicly affectionate he is when you arrive in Kansas City as opposed to when you're back home in Arizona?
Traffic.
I was going to say, what was that?
Yeah. Traffic outside.
He's a little bit more distant. We hold hands sometimes, but not often. And
Aw.
that's about the extent. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes he wouldn't even hold my hand. It would just be like, he wouldn't introduce me to anybody, anything like that.
In Kansas City?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you meant at convention. I
No.
misunderstood.
No,
He wouldn't hold her hand at
not at
conventions.
convention in Kansas City. We talked about, earlier we talked
So
about
weird.
how he acted like just your friend unless it was in front of Dan or Desiree Freeman or Aaron Dewey. But he acted like your friend, or just a friend in public. My question was whether or not when you got to Kansas City and you were traveling together where people didn't know you, did that change?
Yes, he was more affectionate in those cities when we were out of town.
He
And
was
this
embarrassed by you,
trip
Jodi.
to these Mormon historical sites, before you drove to Oklahoma City, how long of a trip was that to be?
We hit multiple places in a day and then spent the entire day in Nauvoo. I want to say 2 or 3 days.
Okay. And during these trip to these religious landmarks, and from what you say, and I don't want to assume this, so from what you say, it sounds like there were several in the Missouri area.
Yes,
And as far as these, you must have spent a couple nights on the road as well, right?
yes, we did.
And did you have separate hotel rooms or just one?
No, just one.
2 beds or just one?
One queen size bed.
Okay. Was there sexual behavior during this trip?
Yes.
Oral sex?
I don't remember the nature of it. I just remember it was not anything different than what we had been doing.
Okay. And was this something fairly consistent throughout the 2 or 3 days that you were on this trip?
I think it only occurred once,
Okay.
and during that portion of the trip.
We need an oral. We need a counter on the various acts.
Now, you talk about going through Missouri, and was the next portion of the trip to fly to Oklahoma, or was there something before that?
No, we went to 3 or 4 different places in Missouri. Then we drove to Nauvoo, Illinois.
And then from Illinois, you went to Oklahoma City?
Yes, we stayed the night in Nauvoo, Illinois. And then we spent the whole day until it was
I
dark
saw
again,
your
and then
comment,
drove most of the
Jack.
night. I think to Oklahoma. I remember driving a long time after Nauvoo.
Best to say those in
And you
chat.
said to convention, that was a prepaid legal convention?
Yes,
And based on what we heard before, it sounds like that was one of the 2 big conventions of the year, right?
yes, there were 2 conventions per year, and this one was in the spring.
And you mentioned, 'cause I think we got a little
Sal would
bit of
hold her
miscommunication
anything
earlier. You said
like a bowling ball.
he was acting like your boyfriend on these trips, but it sounded like when you got to Oklahoma City, things changed.
That's correct.
And describe for us again, so we're clear, how did things change in terms of, from a physical standpoint?
I just sort of became, it seemed like I was just another person there.
Chat
Hey,
is
Iris.
wild today.
Maybe on a friend acquaintance kind of level. I wasn't expecting, he had told me ahead of time that convention is crazy and all that. But there were plenty of moments where we were all just hanging out.
I think-
And
Indigo's right.
he wasn't,
Their sex lives sound boring. They kind of do, don't they? I mean, I understand they're
Yeah.
Mormons, but this is the Jodi Arias trial, right?
Yeah.
I never watched it. I just heard about all the sensational buzz surrounding it. And I don't know if it's just her delivery, but it sounds so boring. It sounds so boring. Except for
Yeah,
the Provo push. That got interesting. because that involves a third party by definition.
Oh, that was amazing. Provo. Please, David, for those who are new to this, explain what
So-
Provo push is.
According to Mormon teenagers, a way to get around the no sex restriction is you insert and don't move, which is called soaking. And then you engage a third party who will then gently move the mattress around, therefore the Provo push. But it doesn't violate the requirements, I guess. So that is the Provo push. But that's I don't know. They brought it up on trial. We were trying to figure out what it was, and apparently that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's the most exciting part of their sex lives, I believe.
Yeah.
Third party intervener. That's right.
Yeah.
Intentional wrongful acts of a third party cannot be held accountable against you.
Yeah, I am so sure if God is a Mormon God that he won't notice.
Yes, exactly.
Incredibly affectionate. But there was one time where we were up very late and we were in the hotel lobby, and I was really tired. But I stayed to
Yeah.
hang out with everyone,
we
and
need
he put a
Jeff
pillow on his lap and let me lay
to
there.
fill in
So that was really nice.
on this.
But other than that, he was actually very flirtatious with another woman.
Without going into the details of that flirtation, you said he was flirtatious with another woman. Was that in front of you?
Yes.
That hurt your
Straight to
feelings?
hell.
Yes, it hurt my feelings.
You ever
Hey,
say
lefties
anything
in the chat.
to him about it?
Afterward, after the incident, we ended
Yeah.
up talking about it.
Ghostery is here.
In the past, you had mentioned how it was difficult for you to bring these things up to him. Right?
Yes.
What gave you the courage or strength?
This
to
isn't even
bring this up
compelling,
to him?
like,
I didn't bring it up to
examination of
him
your
this time. He
witness,
came
of
to
your
me.
client.
I think he knew he screwed up.
And once he brought it up to you, was all forgiven?
Eventually, yeah, we talked a few minutes. Getting into it again made me cry.
Salvador
because
finds
it
it compelling.
was very
Of course he
blatant
does.
what he did, and he was very apologetic.
What did he do?
What about the way he treated you at this convention? This kind of, well, what about this disparity between the affectionate behavior you saw when you were going through Missouri and the behavior
Holly says-
during the convention?
Can you pause it real quick?
Yeah.
Holly in my chat says that she saw the video of Travis. Okay, I thought you were like actually there. I got all excited real quick. Okay, that'd be interesting. If you could drop a link to that video, I might want to check that out at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after we are done with the entirety of this trial, we might do some of these extra things like her interviews, his videotapes, and stuff
I'm
like
gonna
that.
try to get to the prison and interview her too, and things like that. So, no, that'd be very interesting if you could drop a link to that.
Yeah, please do.
How did that sudden change to being just going from girlfriend, someone he's
Oh,
intimate with,
Meme Copium
at
raid on
nights in
my
the hotel
channel.
room,
Oh,
That's
nice.
really
to
nice
just
of Meme
being
Copium.
one of his
Thank you, Meme.
buddies at the convention?
Did you say how did that?
Yeah, how did that make you feel?
I didn't actually overanalyze it because this was a business convention. Nevertheless, there were couples there that were friendly outside of the business
everybody new.
sessions. There's a lot of personal time and hanging out and partying.
Welcome to the Jodi Arias trial.
So I saw other couples being affectionate. I don't mean making out, just sitting next to each other, holding hands. Travis and I didn't do that. So it hurt my feelings a little, but it was very mild in comparison to the way he was actually acting.
Yeah, I
with
played hardcore
another
World of
woman.
Warcraft a few times. That's not fun.
Oh, meme
So
died, so he
how
saved
long
the
was
stream.
the convention? How long were you two just buds?
Convention lasts 2 days, and there was a breakout. I can't remember this time if the breakout came before or after convention.
Okay. Do you share a hotel room with Mr. Alexander?
Definitely not. We were in separate hotel rooms.
You say definitely not. What do you mean by that?
Well, he explained to me that it wasn't
And
looked upon very well.
you who just joined from Meme Copium, this is the Jodi Arias trial. This is Jodi Arias. And me and Dave we are dual streaming. So once you have checked this channel out and press that thumbs up, go over to David's and press thumbs up there too. And
Yes.
then come back here.
Yeah, they go back there. I need to win this time. So we're doing a thumbs up challenge every dual stream, and it's the last couple of times Nick has won. So
Yeah.
I need a win. So you guys got to come over and like mine and not like Nick's, just for today though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, David's envious, but not because he has 400 more subscribers than I have, not because let me win this at least.
Nah, maybe.
Nah,
We'll see.
it's a friendly banter, really friendly.
When to stay in the same hotel room. Plus, because we weren't married, we weren't going to get the same hotel room. He would stay in a room with a bunch of guys, and I would stay in a room with a bunch of girls, and we would all split the cost.
But they
I'm a
met
little
up in between.
confused then, because it seems like
Guess who this is?
this man had concern about the appearances at the convention, but didn't have any concerns about sharing a hotel room with you a night or two beforehand, right?
Yes.
Phrasing?
Did you ever question him about that disparity?
No, I knew that it was a church standard, and I knew that we were going against the church standard when no one else knew about it. But
At least one more knew about it.
not that time. Eventually that came up between us, but at convention I didn't.
Okay. Do you and Travis, how do you return back to, where do you go after the convention's over?
I believe we flew directly back from Oklahoma City to Phoenix.
You flew together?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just the two of you, or were there other,
Thank you, Indigo. Both at Dave's and mine.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Showing the love.
Yeah.
Indigo
Showing
shows a
love.
lot of love.
Yeah, she does. She's amazing. Thank you so much.
obviously it wasn't your own plane, but I mean, were there other associates or friends that were involved in this trip?
There might have been other friends on that flight because tons of people go, but not that I recall. We booked those flights together and it was just us.
Okay. When you get back from Oklahoma City, do you spend time with Travis, or do you immediately go back to Palm Desert?
Trying to remember. I believe that night we got back on a Sunday, and he used to go to dinner at his friend's house on Sundays, and that Sunday I went with him.
Okay. Did
I
you
hear a
spend more
timer
days
going
with
off?
him?
I believe I stayed Sunday night and then left Monday.
That Sunday night before, well, let me ask you this. When you went to the home of his friends. Had you met these people before?
No,
Did he introduce you to them as as his girlfriend.
No, I was kind of just a friend.
Did that hurt?
He's hiding you.
If it did, I was ignoring it. I can't recall thinking
Sure you
anything
did.
particular about it.
Okay.
Brandon
That
stirring
evening-
drama in my chat.
You go to this home and you're introduced as his buddy again. When you go back to the home, is there more sexual activity?
The night before I left,
It's quiet without Greta yelling.
I really don't recall on that night.
Okay.
Just so much detail.
Perhaps. It's about 3.
I don't
All
know.
right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take the afternoon recess. Please be back
Oh,
in the
wow, that was it
designated
for day
area
15?
at 3:20.
Really?
Please remember the admonition.
What did we go
You are
into?
excused.
No, there's.
Oh, the afternoon break. I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah.
they were talking about going home for the night. Justin, leave Dave alone. He will YouTube at his own special pace. Thank you, Justin, for having my back. By the way, if you guys are members, don't forget about the 3-hole wonder emoji we have.
Yeah, darn it. I forgot to make one of my own, but I will remember it at some point.
Yeah, you got to get a 3-hole wonder emoji going.
Yeah. I'm oddly very thirsty today. I have no idea why.
Jung says she doesn't like the gray suit of the prosecutor. I don't like anything the prosecutor wears because he just runs around. Hey, Jenna knows is in the chat. Danielle. Oh, hey there.
Hey.
She didn't know what the 3-hole wonder was. Yeah, that's the 3-hole wonder. That's Jodi. The defense, I didn't even notice. The defense
Please be
counsel
seated. The record will show the presence
always
of
wears
the
something odd.
jury, the
Yeah.
defendant, and all.
And to answer Melissa, no, will not do a Zachary Anson stream later today. On Monday, I will be joining Alternate Corner on his Zachary Anderson rewatch. So I will post that link in on my channel and on Twitter and on my Discord, so everybody can get over there. I have an inkling we might discuss more than just day 10 of rewatching. This is the only stream I'm doing today because I'm thirsty, a bit hungover, and I need to get to my girlfriend after this.
More important priorities are definitely
Yeah.
a must.
Yeah.
Counsel, you may continue.
I feel like I'm dark. Hang on a second.
Ms. Arias, before we move completely
I think
past
we are almost wearing the same jacket,
the convention in Oklahoma City,
but I would never wear purple to
you had
that.
mentioned some incident that had made you upset during this convention.
Yes,
That made you more upset than being treated as his buddy during this convention, right?
yes, I can't say that being treated as buddy made me really upset, just kind of bothered me.
Okay. What was this
A bit racist, isn't
incident
it?
that you're talking about that hurt your feelings so significantly?
Well, this was the night of the executive director banquet, and I went again with Travis that night. After that banquet, most people like to change out of their tuxedos and gowns or whatever fancy dresses that they're wearing
Fancy
into clothes that are more
dresses.
comfortable. So Travis and I did that. I was in jeans or whatever, and he changed out to the same. And some people will stay in their dresses. There was one woman that came down the stairs from another level of the lobby, I guess. We were in the lobby area of the Sheraton Hotel. And she was very, very drunk, and she
Ooh.
almost couldn't stand up. And so she began to hang all over various men. slurring things, making jokes that nobody really understood. Everyone was laughing at her though. It was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of funny at the time too, so I flipped open my phone and started video recording her, just so I could show her
Who
the
is she
next
talking
day.
about? I missed that.
So everything was kind of, we were just laughing, and then I'm not allowed to say what she said.
Well, let me get specifically to what was it about this drunk woman, as you describe her? Did she have an interaction with Travis or something that made you upset?
Yes, she was hanging all over two guys, and then after that, she kind of lurched over to Travis and fell on him a little, and he held her up, and they were facing each other very close, and he was holding her around the waist, and she had her arms around his shoulders, and she had this very sexy black gown on, very generous cleavage, kind of pressed up against his
Generous
chest.
cleavage? That's how she says that.
Looked like he was loving every minute of it. And I was sitting down on a couch nearby. He was probably about 5 feet in that direction. And I had already shut my phone at this point because the video didn't last that long. I just got this feeling inside, like my stomach flip-flopped. Like I couldn't believe he was doing that. Not just doing it, but doing it right in front of me and in front of all our friends. I was under the impression that most of our friends, Dan was there, Aaron Dewey was there, that other people understood we were together, and I didn't feel like that behavior was appropriate. But I didn't want to make a scene, so I stood up, and I was hurt. I felt like I wanted to cry, but I didn't really want anyone to see that.
Yes.
So I
Most
decided I was
definitely.
going to go to the bathroom. But in order to get to the bathroom, I had to walk right past them. So I passed them, and they stopped me briefly, and I don't remember what she was slurring, but he was just kind of laughing, and they were swaying and just going like that. And I
I
just
still don't know
said,
who this woman is. Does anyone know in chat?
I don't know if I said much. I just kept walking after that. And I went into the bathroom and into a stall and sat down on one of the toilets and just started crying.
Indigo, that's a bad idea.
So she sees Travis
Now, did
with
you
somebody. This is after
This sounds like it was pretty
he defiled her.
upsetting to you.
Random drunk
Yeah, it
Mormon.
hurt my
Okay.
feelings.
Did you express that to Travis?
Eventually. I was more appalled with the fact that he was doing it right in front of me and that he was doing it at all. But it definitely hurt my feelings, and I stayed in the bathroom for quite some time. Leslie Udy came in. I believe it was her. It sounded like her voice. A few times calling my name. I think she knew I was in there. But every time I heard the door open, I put my feet up so that no one could see me in the stall, because I didn't want anyone to understand or to know that I was upset. So she left, and after the second time she came in and then left, I finally exited the stall.
Why, let me stop you for a minute. Why would you not want people to know that you were upset?
I guess I felt ashamed for some reason that he was acting that way. I felt ashamed. I can't really explain why. I guess I just felt like maybe I would be perceived as someone who didn't deserve anything better, or someone who was maybe overly dramatic or overreacting or too emotional. I wanted to be perceived more as just cool and calm and like shrug it off, like, whatever, because maybe there wasn't any meaning behind it. But even though they were very physically suggestive, or at least close, and
They're
pressing their
acting
bodies
like
up against each other,
teenagers, and they're all in their mid
and it
20s.
lasted quite some time, I just still was thinking, well, maybe there wasn't anything to that. Maybe it didn't mean anything. So I didn't want others to think that I was overreacting.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you brought this up with Travis. Did you do that before you
Yeah,
left Oklahoma
that
City?
is her entire defense. She
It was
is
shortly after
innocent as new fallen
I
snow.
left the stall.
Yep.
I checked my makeup because I had cried it all off and my eyes were really puffy and red. So I didn't want to
Now
give myself
she's
away. So I
going
tried
into
to make
that
myself appear like I
overly
wasn't crying.
detailing stuff again.
And then at that point, I think a half hour had passed. So I left the bathroom and I had to walk past the same area again. Most of that group had dispersed. So I decided to walk really fast toward the elevators and hopefully no one would notice me, but somebody did and called my name, and just to be polite, I stopped and said hi and then continued on to the elevators. And then as I was getting near the elevator, Travis texted me and asked me where I was.
So after he texted you, did you,
Wait, what is it?
Dave, Nathan
Can we-
has an idea for you.
Custom mini bowling ball. That would be awesome. That's a great idea. That's gonna happen. Skin tone bowling ball. Everyone's signatures. I'm gonna have to order one and then start collecting the signatures. That's definitely gonna happen now. That's great.
Oh, oh, that's amazing. Oh,
That's awesome. I'm gonna start. Okay, Amazon, small custom bowling ball.
check if you can customize it with her face.
Well, it has to be something that she can keep, right? So it's got to be like
Yeah.
plush. It's
Yeah.
got to end up having to be plush. Maybe I can get like a stress ball and make it look like a bowling ball.
Yeah.
I can't give her a bowling ball to take back into prison with her. I don't know if that's gonna work out well.
Oh,
Ooh, I know exactly what I'm getting.
oh
All right,
really?
this could be awesome. Yeah, so for kids, they have these small plastic bowling ball sets.
Yeah.
And the bowling ball is about yay big, and it's just plastic, but it's got the 3 holes and everything. That's what I think I'm going to do.
Yeah. Will you get it before you travel here? No.
No, I'm leaving Monday. I won't get it before then. Well, I could try. Let me see.
get together and talk about it then?
Yes, I forgot actually one thing I did before you texted me.
Well, let's
Maybe,
just
maybe not.
focus on the conversation.
They will
we had
allow her
with
to have it in prison.
Okay.
That happened that night in Oklahoma City?
Yes, it did.
And where did that conversation take place?
It actually took place, he was trying to get on the same elevator I was, but from his floor. So we figured that out, and I rode the elevator up, and he met me at the elevator.
He met you on the elevator?
As I came off the elevator.
Okay.
Ooh, I can get it as early as tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So where are you when you talk about this?
We are outside the elevator. There's a long hallway, but then right before the hallway, there is a small table and a chair, maybe 2 chairs. We were there.
Okay, so you sit down and you talk about this event. Is that right?
Yes.
And are you yelling at him? Are you crying? What is your emotion when you're expressing how upset you are with him?
I had calmed down a lot. I didn't want to leave the bathroom until I was cool and collected. So I calmed down a lot, but as he got me to talk about it, it got me upset again. So I started crying some, and he reassured me and just said some nice things.
And that kind of ended the discussion about it there, at least in Oklahoma City?
That didn't really end the discussion. As I was going to sleep that night, he sent me a very nice text message, very apologetic, saying that he wanted to be better. Sorry.
What's interesting is that she can't admit his statements, but he can admit his
In terms of the
statements.
conversation, the verbal conversation, that ended at the table in the hallway, right?
Yes, when we were present with each other.
Looking at the phrasing from, yeah.
So you leave Oklahoma City, you've had a conversation about this incident. You were telling
What
us
do-
earlier,
All the details have to do with it. She is portraying herself as extremely innocent, gullible, easily manipulated, and then it will be turned on you because, and then Travis did this, Travis does that, because her defense is self-defense.
Yep. Yeah. So she has to portray herself as the meek, innocent little person, and he is manipulative, then turning violent, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's why we're listening to all of this, all of it. By the way, I'm good. I canceled that. I've got a better idea because of the phrase and everything that I want to print on it. So I'm gonna get a custom printed stress ball. I'll bring it in December. We can all sign it.
Yeah. Excellent.
How you had spent some time at a friend of Travis's house, had dinner there.
Don't give it to
and
her
I think
before
we're at
the
a point in
interview.
time where you were about
wait till
ready
after.
to return to Palm Desert,
She
right?
might get up and walk out.
Yes.
Okay. And how
And
far
don't
of a
turn your
drive
back on
is
her.
Palm Desert from Mesa?
I remember it being approximately 5.5 hours, depending on how fast you drive.
Now, did you have a job back in Palm Desert at that time?
Yes,
And where were you working?
I was working at Quisto and trying to remember. I think it was California Pizza Kitchen.
Now, at this point in time, though, you were also telling us that you were seeing Travis every week, maybe every other week. So after you returned from convention, when was the next time that you saw him?
I saw him again the following weekend. There was a recap. They usually have some kind of recap event the week following convention. I guess in various regions, and Travis came to Southern California to the one that I would go to.
Okay. And you said Southern California. Where was this follow-up or
I believe it was either in Anaheim or a city near that.
okay. Did you share a hotel room together?
No, he stayed with friends and family.
Okay. And did you have a hotel room?
I stayed, oh yeah, we were all staying at the same house, friends.
Okay.
Can
Any
I do
sexual
this in
activity
1.25
at that point in
instead?
time?
Are you all
Yeah,
okay
I've been
with
doing that. I would do that.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
night. I
Yeah, no,
think
I've been playing
we
it in
had- we
1.25
did
because
in
it's
that
more
house
engaging than.
during those times, but I don't recall that specific night.
Okay. Do you recall whose home it was?
Yes,
Who?
it was Chris and Sky Hughes' parents' home.
Okay. When you were at this event, forgive me, I forget what you referred to it as, a post?
Recap.
Recap, okay. This post-convention recap, was his behavior the same it was in Oklahoma City in terms of how he treated you as a buddy or colleague, as opposed to his girlfriend?
Yes, it was friendly, but not anything more than that.
And was he flirtatious with other women in front of you during this recap?
I don't recall. He's always very friendly with women, but I don't recall anything that sticks out.
Okay.
Yeah, her testimony is.
So after
is
this recap is
slow.
over,
Yeah.
do you both return to your respective homes?
No, the recap was one day on Saturday, and we stayed the night at the Hughes' parents' home. So it was a ranch, and we were out there, and there was a party. So a lot of people came over. It was a social event, and after the party dispersed, we hung out and went to sleep.
In the same bedroom?
Yes,
When
The
you
worst
were
part
at
of-
this ranch, as you described it,
Old line red.
meeting a bunch of people, did he introduce you as his girlfriend?
no,
Was it just, this is my friend Jodi?
he didn't
Something to
introduce
that
me at
effect?
all.
What's that?
He didn't introduce me at all.
Oh,
So
she's
he's just got
pissed.
this weird woman like hanging out behind him because he's
Yeah.
not introducing her. Because that's how you walk around, talking to people. It's just with someone just kind of following you around.
Mm.
I don't believe this part.
No, it's we are into this. She's very, very detailed again.
Yeah. At least we were saying the other day, the last couple of days, when she
Mm.
gets very, very, very detailed, I tend not to believe her so much. When she highlights, like you would normally do in a conversation, I believe her more.
Mm. And we had a few
Not
instances
that,
where she described an incident, and she really didn't want to talk about it. So, and her defense lawyer had to more or less drag it out of her.
yeah. I find that more credible. And I mean, again, I am not qualified. It's purely speculative.
Mm.
It's not a science at all, but I just find it more credible. And I'm
Mm.
kind of gauging the jury's reaction to some degree.
Yeah, maybe we can find someone from that jury.
It's a
We are
concubine.
yeah, we can, or we can find because the judge has retired.
But she's doing mediation, though. I can find her. I mean, I have
Yeah.
her contact information. I just haven't reached out because we're not ready to really do interviews yet. So,
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
So after this party at the ranch, what happens next? I mean, do you stay at the ranch a few more days, or is this the last day you're on the ranch?
A few more days. I think I left Monday evening.
And left, you mean to go back to Palm Desert?
Travis wanted to meet up with me in Riverside that night, so he told me to go to, I don't remember what it's called, but I think it's called the Mission or something. It's kind of a tourist destination in Riverside. He said it's a beautiful place for photographs and that I could get some nice pictures while he finishes up whatever he was doing at their house. So I had to I had to go to Verizon, and then I went there and took some pictures.
And did Mr. Alexander then meet you at this Mission Inn?
No, when he arrived in Riverside, he gave me directions to his grandmother's house.
Okay. And this house, was this also located in Riverside?
Yes.
Ooh, I
To my
forgot.
understanding.
Okay. And was this,
Darn it.
by the time he had contacted you and given directions to his grandmother's
what
house,
did you forget?
was this, what time of day was this, if you can remember?
To
It was the evening. It was dark. It
cover
wasn't very
the
late.
watermark.
Oh,
So did then,
So I did this
did
instead.
you go to his grandma's house?
Yes.
Changed the
Did he
outline a bit.
introduce you to his grandmother
Yes.
as his girlfriend?
No.
Farrell, I've not reached out to anyone for interviews on this trial yet, just because I want to get through
What
the
did,
trial
what
first.
did the three of you
Mm.
do while you were at his grandmother's house?
We just stayed. Trying to remember. I think I met her 3 times, and I don't want to get those things out of order. But the time that I left Temecula, which was where the ranch was, I believe, and then I went over to meet her, we only stayed for a few minutes, and it was a little awkward. I mean, I think I might have been meeting her for
I
the
only
first time.
have this overlay,
um,
and that is
Travis
from.
was kind of just standing
It's
there.
in the
and
wrong-
he
Yeah, it's
and I
on the
went-
wrong side. Let me send it to you. The one I
Yeah.
did.
Where did you wind up spending the night that evening?
Oh, sorry.
That evening, I think I
Yeah.
drove home.
After you got back to Palm Desert, we're talking about January of 2007 still, is that accurate?
No, convention was late March. The recap was a week later. I think the party was on March 31st because it was last day of the month.
Okay. Let me
All right,
back up
send it
then.
to you on Twitter.
And was he, at this convention and this recap, you were, at least to the both of yours, at least the way you two looked at it anyway, you were boyfriend and girlfriend, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't think
In
we'll be done with
between
Jodi on the
January-
stand until Christmas.
And March.
Mm.
If it gives you any indication. Someone's asking how
It was
long this trial's
Valentine's
going
Day,
to take.
right?
Yes.
Did you spend Valentine's Day with Mr. Alexander?
No.
Did he provide you with any Valentine's gifts?
Yes.
How did those, did he deliver them himself or were they shipped to you?
They were shipped to me. We weren't together on Valentine's Day because I worked. And also the relationship was still kind of new, like 12 days prior, we barely made it official. So I didn't have any big expectations for Valentine's Day, but I came home between jobs in the afternoon and there was a package on my doorstep.
We have a total of 56 days
And
plus
did
the
you open the
verdict.
package right away? Was it, well, let me ask you this. Was it easily identifiable to you who the package was from?
Yes, his return address was on it.
Did you call him before you opened it or did you open it?
I opened it before calling him.
What was in this package?
There were a variety of things. When I opened it, on top were some
Opening his
chocolates,
mail.
Reese's peanut butter cups, and I think the little Halloween size, fun size Hershey bars. They were all melted completely. I guess they'd melted being outside. So I put them in the refrigerator. And then beneath that was a shirt that he had been joking about getting me for some months or weeks, maybe. It was over a month. And it's,
Can you describe the shirt for us?
yes, it's the one that was in the pictures of Travis Alexander's.
What else?
I laughed because it was an inside joke that he had been making for a while. I didn't think he would actually get me a shirt like that, but he would joke about doing that. And so took it out of the package and lifted it up, and there were also other items underneath it.
I'm sorry, you said that again?
There were other items underneath it.
And what other items were there?
The pink shorts, which I didn't see his name on the back at first. I just picked them up, and I thought they were cute.
She ordered those for herself.
Exhibit number 417.
They're talking about underwear and stuff that
Is
says,
that the shirt and shorts you're talking
yeah, there it
about
is.
receiving from Mr. Alexander on Valentine's Day?
Yes,
Valentine's Day 2007?
yes.
Those shorts, they're so big. They're like granny panties. Are they shorts?
Yeah.
I guess they're shorts. They're not underwear. I thought they were originally portrayed as underwear. So, okay. That's not so bad. I thought they were originally underwear. But the printing and everything, I feel like she made this at home.
Yeah.
Printing's not lined up. This is not professionally done. Jung would wear them for sure.
Yes,
Valentine's Day 2007?
yes.
Yeah, you mentioned some melted chocolates, t-shirt, shorts. Was there anything else in this package?
Yes, there was one other thing beneath the shorts.
What was that?
They were boys' underwear. They were Spider-Man underwear.
And did it seem strange to you that you were receiving those?
I was confused at first.
Those are boys' underwear, she says?
they were still in the
They're not
package.
shorts.
I don't remember the size, but
Maybe he was getting
they were,
himself
like,
clothes. He
packaged,
puts his name on them.
like in a vacuum sealed package with the cardboard, so you could see the different styles of Spider-Man that were in that package. And
Oh, little boy
thought at the time-
underwear.
Well, let me
Okay.
ask you this. Was there anything else in that package? Was this,
there was a nice letter also.
Judge, may we approach?
Yes.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man does anything a spider can. This is, yeah, okay, so this is where she's getting into the idea that Travis was essentially a, how do we say it on YouTube's? I can't remember the term. Anyways, he liked boys of a certain age. And apparently he had photos of it, she claims, although those photos can't be found anywhere. And he's ordering Spider-Man underwear. So she's trying to make him out to be a real creep. And she's actually claiming self-defense. So she's admitting to killing him in this trial. So she has to make him out to be someone so deplorable the jury's going to be like, yep, this guy, we're fine with it.
Oh, darn it.
Oh, let me email it to you, sorry. I forgot when I sent it to
No,
you
but
that way. It flows in the
darn it,
background.
I'm having it in Canva now. I just have to.
Oh, would you put it
All
in
right, ladies and
Canva?
gentlemen, we are going to take the evening recess at this time.
Let me
As I
send it
told
to
you
you this
yesterday,
way.
there will be no court tomorrow, so we will see you back here on Monday at 10:30. Please remember the admonition. Are there any
It's
questions?
it's in your email now.
Have a nice weekend. You are excused.
Yeah, he was a douche, but whatever, Jodi. Yeah, that's Jamie's comment. Yeah, I agree. So one of the fundamental issues with this case is he can be like, I feel sorry for her at times. I really feel like he led her on and played her, but it doesn't justify her actions. She needs to convince the jury that she was actually in danger for her life. I don't think she's going to get there. Not with these sort of things.
Mm.
Let's see. So we're going to do 16. We're going to go into day 16.
Yeah, I thought we would.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And
I'm going to change my... I'm going to change my title. Say day 16 part 3 and day 16 part 1.
Yep.
Oh, we're doing it live. We're doing it live. This is how we do. We're professionals here. We work on the fly. Because I doubt we're going to get all the way through day 16. But hi, everybody in the chat. Hope you're enjoying this coverage of the Jodi Arias trial. All of her lies and attempted manipulations of the jury. She's like the OG of Amber Heard. You know,
Yeah.
tries to manipulate the situation and tries to convince everybody that she is, in fact, the innocent one. And essentially, she's projecting a lot. And you saw a lot with Amber Heard projecting a lot. What I mean by projecting she had a mindset of, I need to tarnish this guy. And in trying to do that, I'm going to project the idea that he is, in fact, worth being tarnished. So,
There.
we get it? Oh, yeah, there's our little Jodi.
Yeah.
If she was Lizzo Light, would she be as sympathetic? Nope. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Lizzo's definitely projecting as well.
You have to change. The laws are written in that way. I mean,
I know. I know you ladies want to go after the men for leading you on like this, but you just can't. You just can't. You gotta. There is a line.
yeah. But okay, we are getting into day 16. Let's see if
Jung says she loves that figure of Jodi. We have to give Farrell full credit. She put that together.
Yeah. That is Farrell. She did. She did the intro, the outro.
I did the intro.
You did the intro.
I did the intro. She did the outro.
Yeah, and the thumbnail, the original, that is not altered, and and for you who are completely new, almost every thumbnail is a little bit different.
Oh, greedy bloke. Take care. Catch you on the next one.
Yep.
Yeah, each thumbnail is a little different. You guys got to keep an eye out for that.
See if you can spot it all. But yeah, let's see what's going on day 16.
Arias, please take the stand.
Yep.
I can make Jodi's head the emoji. I can't make the whole thing. It's too small or it's too big. The emojis are too small.
If we would just ask as customary, I guess, that the jury be asked about the coverage today.
Yes.
Who was that guy?
I don't know.
That was a new face.
I like her little bow on her shirt. It makes her look very pleasant and plain. This guy?
No, the older guy, but that guy looks Mormon.
Yeah, I would say he's either family or friend. Let me, I can make Jodi in a straitjacket and an emoji.
I don't know if we have any prizes lined up for it. Maybe. Uh,
Please be
I don't
Well,
seated.
know.
The
It's just
record
a
will show
fun
the
little
presence of the
game.
jury, the
Not
defendant,
Yeah,
and
everything
fun
all
little
has to
game.
be,
Good
a
morning, ladies and
prize-winning
gentlemen.
game.
mm,
Have any of you
but
seen
maybe,
any coverage of this case in the
maybe.
media? Did you hear anything, see anything? Did anyone talk to you about
This must
this
have been a Monday
case?
morning.
If so, please raise your hand. I see no hands. Ms. Arias, you are still under oath. Do you understand? Mr. Nermi, you may continue with direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Jodi.
Good morning.
Last week, when we ended, we were speaking about the gift you
Check your
received for
tie
Valentine's
today.
Day from Mr. Alexander in 2007. And one of the things we talked about you receiving, we talked about you receiving a few things, but showing you exhibit number 417, the package you received contained this T-shirt and this pair of shorts or underwear, right?
Yes. Yes.
Would you be, is there a story behind this, why you received these particular items?
Calls for a narrative.
There's a story behind the T-shirt. The shorts were unexpected.
Okay, well, tell us what's the story behind the T-shirt.
Well, sometimes Travis would come out to California and we would go to Super Saturdays in Anaheim together. And I was new, so there were people that would introduce me to other people in the company. And if it was a man, he always wanted to know what we were talking about. He would be very inquisitive. And he started making this joke that said, I'm going to get you a T-shirt that says Travis Alexander so you can wear it to all the prepaid legal events.
And this was the shirt that he had, as you said, joked about, right?
Yeah, we just joked about it. He joked about it occasionally. He would bring it up. He didn't attend all of the Super Saturdays in California, so sometimes I would go and he would inquire what happened, who I met, that kind of thing. And so it was a joke that came up occasionally from December through January.
Now, you were telling us last week that the other item you received from Mr. Alexander was some Spider-Man underwear.
Pants on fire.
To be clear, could you describe it for us? Was this one pair? Was there several pairs?
It was a package. I don't remember how many were in the package, but there were 3 designs, like 3 styles. I mean, they were all the same cut, but they had 3 different patterns. They were all Spider-Man.
And to your
Spider-Man's getting
recollection,
wrapped up in this.
this package of underwear that we're talking about, did this say, because women's or girls or boys, what did it say on it?
I don't remember the size, but they were definitely for little boys. I thought maybe he was,
When you saw this package of underwear, were you surprised?
I was a little confused.
Okay.
Well, it could be a.
And did you talk to Mr. Alexander?
I mean, it could be kind of a fetishy little thing, but not necessarily involving little boys, right? I mean, assuming that they actually showed up, right? Let's assume they actually showed up because they haven't been produced. And this is the first time we're hearing about it and all that stuff. But assuming that's true, it could have been involving other things. I mean, Salvador could probably confirm this for me and get some images, but I imagine there's some OnlyFans out there of ladies wearing Spider-Man underwear, right? So,
Yeah, I've heard.
again, I don't know. Wesley, by the way, gifted 20 memberships. Thank you. I didn't mean, I posted it out there. I didn't, that I needed 20 more memberships to add an emoji. I didn't mean for anyone to gift 20 memberships, but it is greatly appreciated. I'm not even going through all the names. If you guys got a membership, you can thank Wesley. And if you are a new member, go ahead and click the membership link on the YouTube, and they'll take you to a link to the Discord, which is where we have all of our member content. By the way, side note, Sunday we were supposed to start Hunt a Killer, but because of my sort of spontaneous travel to Sweden, we're going to have to delay that for a week.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for gifting memberships to Dave. And no,
I want that Jodi emoji.
On the what day did you receive this package? Do you recall?
I think it was on Valentine's Day, or maybe a day or two before or after. It was right on the holiday or right near it.
Okay. And did you speak with Mr. Alexander the day that you received this gift?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What's that?
That movie I remember. Not the original Charlie's Angels, but when the first movie came out, they were walking around in superhero underwear. So it was a
Oh,
thing
yeah.
back then.
Yeah, it is a thing. That's what I'm saying. I think this is innocently explained, even if those underwear actually did exist, which we haven't really seen that they do. We have to trust her on this, right?
Yeah.
Apart from being confused, did you feel anything else other than confusion when you received this boy's underwear?
No, at the time, I received Victoria's Secret catalogs at my house, and there was this trend in women's lingerie at the time that kind of had boys' style briefs or men's style briefs, but they were designed for women's bodies. So I figured, and he also received Victoria's Secret catalogs, so I figured.
Nice, you got 20.
Bass, I was joking, but Bass gifted 20 memberships on my channel. Thank you so much. It's very appreciated, and that's a lot of names.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, I'm not really going to read all those, but thank you very much. All right, so now we have the Jodi knife, the 3-hole wonder, and Jodi herself in my chat.
Yeah, and for you, all new members, there are members-only content on my channel, and it is my farm, morning thoughts, and stuff like that. And you also have a link to my Discord, where you can continue to discuss the cases and the trials I'm covering. All right, thank you so much, Bass.
Maybe it was something to that effect, and he didn't understand
I'll
the
be
difference
right
in
back.
body shapes, and I thought that he was kind of going with that trend. That was my thought, was
Okay.
giving him the benefit of the doubt.
When you talked to him that day, did he explain to you, well, first of all, after speaking with him, was there any doubt that he sent those to you intentionally?
After speaking to him, no, there was no doubt.
And why do you say that?
Well, I called him and we discussed what I received and kind of laughed about it. And then I said, what's with the Spideys? I called them Spideys. And
She certainly hasn't done that.
All right. Ask another question.
Did he wish you to wear this underwear?
yes,
Yeah, see, it's just a thing.
Is this something that fit on your body?
he asked me to try them on while he was on the phone.
It's not his objection, Your Honor. It's improper.
Overruled. Ask another question.
He wanted you to try on these boys' underwear.
Yes,
Wonder Woman.
And did they fit?
the seat of the underwear fit, but the leg holes, the openings were too small. They were really tight.
Was the openings too small to fit anything in?
The
Jodi?
opening's never too small for Jodi. She's lying.
Oh.
Was he pretty, did you advise him that they didn't fit?
I just told him the leg openings were very tight.
Hearsay.
That's exactly responsive and it's not hearsay.
All right, overruled. The answer will stand.
Even though that they did not fit, was there a continued insistence on Mr. Alexander's part that you try on or that you make accommodations with that underwear so you could wear them?
Yes, he suggested a few ideas.
Hearsay.
Ask another question.
Not being honest with the truth of the matter, sir, Judge.
I understand. Ask another question.
Look at this. Hearsay rules in effect.
To the underwear in order to.
I said hearsay rules in effect.
Yes,
Did Travis encourage you to make these alterations?
yes,
Spider-Man
Okay.
costume, but not underwear.
As you could tell, express gratification when you have that pair of underwear on.
We don't know, Jung. We don't know who that woman is. She sits behind them normally.
How so?
Objection, lack of foundation. When?
Sustained.
When you were talking on the phone with him, and he insisted that you tried on these boys' underwear, that didn't fit you because you're not a little boy,
No,
did he express gratification when you had them
it's
on
an
your body?
argumentative question.
Yes.
How so?
He said that's hot.
Objection, hearsay.
Not being offered for the truth of matters later.
Hands will stand.
Just ask if he
That's
liked
odd.
it.
Yes.
Yeah,
You could just ask if he liked it, and she could say yes. That's not hearsay. Did he show signs of approval, or whatever? You know, you can get around the hearsay thing. Not impressed with the defense counsel.
no, not at this moment.
Did he explain why that was hot?
No, I didn't ask him.
And Will Smith.
How
voice.
did you feel wearing these boys' underwear?
Well, not hot. I felt kind of silly.
Okay.
Bull, I call BS.
Did the conversation continue at that point in time?
Yeah, for a little bit it did.
Was it sexual in nature?
Yes, somewhat.
Were,
Miami Source Rex says, or Mama Source Rex says that
did
she
he
bought them for her dog.
express an intention
Yeah,
to use these underwear or have you wear these underwear during a future sexual interaction?
Yes.
yeah. That's actually a
How do you
great
feel
idea,
about that?
Mamasaurus, because the tail goes
I was
out.
a little confused, but I was trying to be open-minded.
Yeah, put them on
What?
backwards.
Be open-minded.
This sexual interaction that was discussed on the phone regarding you wearing the boys' underwear, did that interaction ever take place?
Yes.
And how much, when did that take place, as best you can recall?
Throughout our relationship, mostly after we broke up.
Do you remember the first time that this took place? How much later was it from Valentine's Day that these underwear were used to so?
I like
use
you're
in-
just
in your
cutting to
sexual
the
encounters
chase.
with him?
It was several months. Sometime I kept conveniently forgetting to bring them when I went to his house. It was after I moved to Mesa.
Okay. And before we get to the time period we moved to Mesa, I want to focus on this time period. At this time period, in February 2007,
Don't know.
you have not
Don't know.
had penile vaginal intercourse with Mr. Alexander, is that right?
That's right.
As it relates to Mr. Alexander's temper, had he been violent with you before February of 2007?
No.
Had you seen instances of his temper prior to February 2007?
Yes.
Farrell, I will say there's not zero evidence
Describe
because
for
her
us, if you
testimony
could.
is evidence.
One of those
It's just
instances that
No
was
supporting
powerful
evidence.
to you.
Yeah, there might be zero physical evidence to back it up, but her testimony is evidence, and it's allowed in.
Yeah, I just want to be clear on that because a lot of people say, well, they're testifying to this, but there's no evidence of it. The testimony actually is evidence. It's just if it can't be backed up by something else and you don't necessarily find the speaker or the witness credible, then it really goes down to the credibility of the evidence.
Well, testimony is always used as evidence. You have in trials, you have expert testimony, you have eyewitness testimony. So testimony in trial is evidence. But as Farrell says, zero supporting evidence.
Yes, that's better, I said. Yeah, because that's a more accurate description of it.
Well, it was over the phone. I guess I heard it rather than saw it, but he was,
Ask for foundation.
Sustained.
Over the phone, do you remember when this conversation was, other than prior to February of 2007?
it would have been around the same time, just before Valentine's Day.
Okay. So you're speaking with Mr. Alexander just before Valentine's Day 2007, and since you're on the phone, you're hearing examples of temper, not seeing them, right?
Yes.
Is he yelling at you?
He's yelling on the phone, but not angry at me.
Okay. Why was that impactful on you?
Well, he was very apologetic about it afterward. He seemed a little ashamed.
Objection, she was asked why it affected her, not what he did afterwards.
How did it affect you, Jodi?
It just made me realize that he still had a temper. It was something he had discussed in the past that he used to have more in his teens, and that he had mastered it and had control over it. So
He had mastered it.
In addition to this conversation where you heard instances of his temper prior to February 2007, did you physically see an instance of his temper prior to February 2007?
no.
We just talked about how in February 2007 you had not had sexual intercourse with Mr. Alexander, penile vaginal intercourse, but you did eventually, right?
Yes.
Did the P go into
Do you
the V?
remember what point in time that first encounter happened?
It was in the spring 2007. I think it was in May.
Where were you when this first happened?
I was in his bed,
In his bed, where?
Boring.
in his bedroom in his house in Mesa.
Okay. Tell us what happened.
Dad is so proud of his
We
daughter.
fell asleep,
Twisted.
and I woke up, and he was on top of me.
In the M, in the
And
A,
he had
in the
already
V,
traded, and
in the
Sorry,
E,
I'm
maybe?
Okay. Let's back up a step. That night, you said you were asleep. That night before you fell asleep,
Well, thank you, Rabbit, for gifting 5 memberships.
Awesome.
And again, thank you so much. And for you who recently became members, members only content on my channel, and there's a link to my Discord where you can keep talking and discussing the trials I'm covering.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
you
And
engaged
he
in
has a
sexual
real
activity
working
with
farm,
Alexander?
everyone.
Yeah.
Was he seeking sexual activity that night before you fell asleep?
no, we had prayed about our actions and tried to be more, and try to be more like in line with the law of chastity, just be less physical.
Soaking.
So that night.
That's
you
what they're
and
talking
Travis
about.
Pray. Was there any particular about not violating the law of chastity, right?
Yes, but we didn't pray that night. We prayed prior to that night, recently.
Okay. What motivated
Pray away the temptations.
that prayer that preceded this sexual intercourse? Was there one particular instance that motivated?
Yeah, so according to her, they had oral, back door, before, front door,
Yes. Yep. In that order. Yep.
in that order.
In that order. And I believe the front door might have been a soaking situation, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Was the
Yeah,
roommate involved? We need to know.
It's such a prayer.
I would hear things occasionally in church that didn't sound like they were in line with how Travis explained it to me. So I asked him one time, and as I understood it after we talked, that those standards are in place to prevent people from going all the way. So as long as we're not going all the way, it's okay if we sort of tread in the gray area, as long as we don't go all the way.
Okay.
Great
And
advice,
when you
Mama
say all the way,
Saurus.
that means penile vaginal intercourse.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Old Latin Red spells it out perfectly.
I want to make sure we're clear here because it got a little confusing. That night before you fell asleep and woke up with him inside you, no sexual activity took place?
Not prior to that.
Okay. And were you clothed when you went to sleep?
Yes, I was in pajamas.
Okay. And what you told us
What are your
was
pajamas? What do you wear?
you woke up with him inside you.
Yes.
He was soaking.
Had he talked about having penile vaginal intercourse with you before this event?
No,
Is it something that you desired?
maybe not on a conscious level. It wasn't anything I was actively seeking. We were trying to abstain from it.
Okay. Because at this point in time, your mindset was that you both wanted to comport with the vow of chastity, at least as to what your understanding of it was. Is that right?
Somewhat, yes. I wanted to comport with the law of chastity because I believed that our relationship would be blessed if we did that.
When you say you woke up with him inside you, do you recall, were you dressed?
I wore cotton shorts to sleep and they were gone and my shirt was pulled up pretty high.
Okay.
I don't know, people. Are you going to feel that when you're sleeping?
When you came to,
Yeah.
what was happening? When you woke up, what was happening?
He was in the act
In the act of what?
of vaginal sex.
When you woke up, how did you react?
Well, it took me a second to orient myself and I realized it was Travis, so I didn't feel unsafe or anything. My first thought was, uh-oh, because it wasn't the act itself that I was worried about, but how it would affect our relationship or the spiritual consequences of it.
Did you give consideration to the fact that he was having sex with you when you didn't want him to?
Objection to that statement.
She just said she wasn't seeking it.
Rephrase the question.
Did you want him to penetrate your vagina with his penis while you were sleeping?
It's nothing I had thought about.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
So when you woke up and you found him penetrating your
By
vagina.
the way, of course,
with his
Salvador
penis,
already has pictures of Spidey undies in my Discord. They've been there for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe a word. I've never thought about it. BS.
BS.
Your
Oh.
concern was primarily about chastity.
No, I forgot. I need to redirect my stream to Baker, who's going at 2.
Oh. Yeah, I will
I'm glad
do
he
so.
popped in chat. Yeah, so we're all going to redirect you guys to the Broken Baker stream after this. Who, if you haven't watched before, is Danish. Don't hold it against him. He's otherwise awesome. And he's a layman, which means he's a professional juror in Denmark. And he has a lot of good commentary. And it's a casual Saturday hangout. So those go fun. Those are a lot of fun. If you guys watched my stream last night, you kind of get the flavor.
Yeah, and if you watch my Finally Friday streams, yeah, but more sober and more Danish, and yeah. And me and Baker does not have the same English accent.
Yes, you do. Absolutely, you
No,
do.
no,
it's
we
all
don't.
just, you guys are all the same. You
No.
guys are squabbling over your little piece of land in Europe there, but you're all the same.
It's a huge difference between Sweden and Denmark.
Prior to the law of chastity, excuse me,
The consequences.
the consequences. Did you give thought to the idea that
Even
this
the
man was
audience
having sex
was
with you while you
yawning
were
there.
not conscious?
No, I didn't give thought to that idea. I felt kind of responsible. Sorry.
How did you feel?
I felt like I was partially responsible because I went to sleep next to him. I was wearing cute shorts, a little t-shirt. So, I mean, we might have fallen asleep cuddling, I don't remember. But I just felt like being in his bed, sleeping there, that it wasn't entirely his fault. Like maybe it was invited.
Okay. Invited just by you being there.
Here we go again. And you see,
Oh, I was muted. Sorry.
it is buffered minutes ahead.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. Professional juror, like they actually care about the outcome, or is it similarly cynical to the U.S.? So if you ask Baker about it, he actually takes his job seriously. There's usually, depending on the level of court, there's like 3 jurors and a judge, or there's like more or less judges and jurors that talk about this case. And they all do take it seriously. He's talked about acquitting people, before, and things like that, or even, yeah, we find you guilty, but we're going to give you a light sentence and things like that. So it's an interesting system they have.
Yeah.
I don't like it because, in my opinion, a layman is still a government official.
Oh, come on.
right?
Yes.
Okay. When you woke up, did you tell him to stop?
I don't think I said stop.
What do you recall happening after you woke up?
I said his name, and I remember he was on top of me and behind me. I was on my stomach, and he was kind of heavy, so I started to squirm a little bit to get out from underneath him, and I think, well, he began to quicken his pace, and finally I don't know if he pushed him off him or I scooted out from under him, and he rolled over and pulled me on top of him, and then started pushing my head and my shoulders under the covers.
He was pushing your head and shoulders under the covers for what purpose?
Well, I presumed oral sex.
Did he ask for oral sex? Did he verbally say anything to that effect?
No, no words were spoken.
Did you perform oral sex upon him afterwards?
Yes,
Why?
we had already been intimate before, so it wasn't anything new.
So she didn't like it. She wasn't thinking about it. She didn't want it, but she engaged in other activities. Okay.
Yeah.
Why go through all the detail? See, like there's a lot of detail here, I feel like. I don't know. It doesn't sound credible. Like essentially she's claiming that she was raped, yet she still engaged in other physical activities in the moment. So that doesn't sound like rape to me.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time buying her story
Yeah.
at this occasion.
She said his name, but no words were spoken. I don't get it. What am I doing over here? I'm in a weird little room in my cabin, so I'm not the most comfortable at the moment.
On that level at least, and well, he's turned on and just wanted to, I guess, to finish it.
What was that?
I guess I just wanted to follow through with,
She just wanted him
Follow
to
through
be
with what you started
done.
when you were asleep?
yes, what his aim was, I guess.
What's that?
I just wanted to let him finish.
Why was that important to you?
He had complained in the past about, he complained about blue balls and how painful it was if he has a sustained erection and doesn't ejaculate. That's my understanding of it.
Okay.
He's got all kinds of pressure on her, but I don't feel like he needed really that much. Remember, he's the Mormon she then converted to be with him. That's amazing.
Yeah. My Wi-Fi is acting up on me. I'm going to try to switch from
Evacuate.
router to phone here.
While you're doing that, I'll read through the chat. Amy wants to know, did she say evacuate? I don't know that that's what she said. I think she used the other word. Is terrorist own Masonic cemetery. Awesome. She looks too nervous. She does look nervous. Also, you're new here, or at least you're new to me because I haven't seen you before. But she has a tendency, in my opinion, to go into great details when she's trying to convince you of something that might not necessarily be true. And skip over details where she's trying to, or she's essentially being more truthful, in my opinion. She might look nervous here because she might be telling a fib or two, pants on fire sort of situation.
Okay, I'm switched over to phone internet, so let's see if that works.
Wait.
But I have to ask
Grimm's
you,
bar.
this man is
She doesn't want to engage in premarital sex because it violates the Bible, so she commits sodomy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyone who reads the Bible knows the hypocrisy of that statement. It's awesome. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Oh God, gotta love
sex with
this.
you while you're asleep, while you certainly weren't in a position to say yes or no. Why would you care about his physical condition?
At that point, I knew that I loved him and I cared about him. So it felt kind of natural, even if it was frustrating.
After this sexual intercourse and this activity took place, did you ever confront him about what he had done?
No, we actually never talked about it.
Why not?
Well, he never brought it up, and I guess I just didn't have like the moral courage to bring it up and say, hey, what happened, kind of thing.
Why not simply pack your bags, hop in your car, and drive back
Going
to
back to
Palm Desert?
normal speed, maybe that would work.
Because I enjoyed spending time with him, I wouldn't have done that.
Because that would have meant the end of the relationship?
Not necessarily, maybe not the end of the relationship, but I just stayed the rest of the weekend that was planned for me to be there.
And you said at this point in time, April 2007, you were in love with him. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, that incident occurred in May, I think, and April was when I knew that I
So
was in love with him.
she fell in love with him after he raped her, and she felt no other option but to finish him. Okay, just so we're keeping track of the storyline here.
Yeah, this is and she now has this described 2 occasions of possible rape.
Yeah. The first one was the where the P went in the A.
Yeah.
Yep. Doesn't seem that terribly credible, or she seems extremely disturbed. I mean, those are really kind of the only 2 options.
Does blue well the blue ball thing is a pile of rubbish in my opinion.
I was gonna say we'll leave that one in the chat. You guys can all speculate in there.
Yeah.
I feel
this
sorry for her,
incident-
not sympathetic. I feel sorry for her.
Had you told Travis that you loved him?
No.
You said after this incident, you spent the rest of the weekend with him. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And was this at his home in Mesa?
Yes.
And you would have been boyfriend and girlfriend at this time as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. What did you do the rest of the weekend? You stay home, you go out?
I don't recall the specifics of that weekend, but we would have gone to church. I believe that was the first time
I
I went
would
over
assume
to his
up
friend's house.
until morning break would
He
be a
went
good.
to his friend's house every Sunday for
Yeah,
dinner.
maybe
so I
another
went with
half
him that
hour or
time.
so. Well, I don't know how long
Just
we
general
are.
things,
into
hanging
the
out.
stream.
Okay. And when you went to this friend's house, was this the incident we discussed last week where he didn't introduce you as his girlfriend, that sort of thing? Is that right?
Yes, at his friend's house he didn't. He introduced me. I was in their home, but not as his girlfriend.
It's so much better at
When you went out in
1.25.
public,
Yeah.
in the Mesa area or around his home, when you were out in public, were you guys holding hands? Were you kissing? You have your arm around each other? Was any of that physical affection apparent?
No, not in Mesa.
Okay. And I don't just mean Mesa specifically, the whole valley, just so we're clear, the whole valley, anything else, anything you did while you were in public, was there physical displays of affection that might lead someone to believe your boyfriend or girlfriend?
There were when we were in other geographic locations.
I have apple
Away
pie.
from Mesa?
Yeah, like Disneyland or,
Okay. You went to Disneyland that weekend?
I don't think we were in Arizona when all this occurred, so.
I just want to talk about this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So when you're in the Mesa area, over the weekend, just to clarify, there's no physical displays of affection in public, right?
No,
Does Travis have roommates at this point in time, April or May of '07?
yes,
Okay. And are you spending the night in his room or are you sleeping elsewhere?
I'm staying in his room.
Okay. Now, we talked about the lack of physical affection displayed in public. We already heard about one incident. Were there physical displays of affection once Travis locked his bedroom door?
Yes,
What happened the rest of the weekend? Was there more penile vaginal intercourse?
no, that was the only time at that point.
What other actions took place over that weekend?
I don't recall specifically that weekend. I just remember it from that incident. That was one that I won't forget.
Well, let me ask you this.
I'm 3 behind
about
the
all the other
likes.
sexual interactions that took place over the weekend. Were you awake?
Oh, really?
Yes,
Were you,
Well, after
on
you,
those occasions, a willing
everybody
participant in
just
sex?
go over to David's stream and give him a sympathy like, and then you get back here and give me a like.
Yes, I'll take a sympathy like. I'll take a sympathy throw at me. I'm good with that.
Mm.
I'm not above sympathy.
Sexual activity.
yes.
Now, from what you told us earlier, around May of 2007 is about the time that you moved out of your home in Palm Desert. Is that right? April or May?
Yeah, I think it would have been sometime mid-May.
And where do
It's
you
a pity
move
push.
after you move out of your home in Palm Desert?
I moved to Big Sur, back to Big Sur, California.
And that's not the viewers, it's the likes.
And what was in Big Sur, California?
I had a job back at Ventana again. The position was open for me, and staff housing, so the rent was free. And it was just a way for me to get back on my feet.
Back on your feet financially?
Yes,
I have
Now,
64 or
from what we heard
65
earlier,
likes. How
Ventana
many do
is
you have,
the-
Dave?
Place where you met Mr.
I
Brewer.
got
Is that correct?
65.
Was Mr. Brewer working there that summer?
no, he was on the peninsula, Monterey Peninsula.
Oh, you got 66
You
now.
also told us about last time that you worked there, you were dating Matt McCartney, or you were friends, excuse me, you were sharing a tent, right?
Yes, we were freshly broken up.
Was Mr. McCartney, was he working at Ventana this summer of '07 with you again?
Yes, he was working there.
Did you share housing again?
Yes, we did.
And was that this tent again, or did you actually get other accommodations?
No, we had better accommodations. We were in the Red House, which is right on Highway 1. It's a historic house that they let employees stay there. So we were in that house with other roommates.
Speak for yourself, old line red.
And if we understood you correctly, this would have been about a year after you broke up with Matt, right?
No, Matt and I broke up in 2001.
Okay, 2001, I'm sorry.
You-
Several years since you broke up with Matt, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, several.
And you said you lived together. Were you roommates? Were you romantically involved?
No, we were more like brother and sister by this point.
Okay.
Gross.
So you were still close friends several years later, right?
Yes,
Okay. And not in any kind of sexual
The
relationship?
brother used to
none.
diddle. You know how it is.
Did Travis know that you were roommates with Matt?
yes,
To your understanding, was he jealous or upset about that situation?
surprisingly, no, he didn't mind that one.
You say that one. Were there other instances of jealousy around this time period?
Is that assumed facts? Not
Yes, there were.
evidence?
Describe those for us.
Yeah, today,
There was
case
one
happened
incident
in
where
Virginia.
I was going to drive to
Utah,
Southern
close
California and meet Travis.
Arizona, rather.
I think we were going to meet at the airport or for Disneyland. I don't remember which trip this was, but it was while I lived in Big Sur. And all the water on the property at Ventana had been shut off, and I wanted to take a shower before I hit the road. So I called a friend who lived nearby, and I used a shower. He said he was in Monterey, but his house was open, and he gave me directions and the gate code so I could drive up through the mountains to go to his house, shower, and then hit the road. And when I told Travis, he flipped out on me for that.
Well, you say flipped out. Was he yelling at you?
Yes.
And you say jealousy. Was
I am
he,
now 69.
to your understanding, angry because you thought that this was something
I saw.
sexual in nature?
He was worried that it would lead to
I
something
got
sexual,
67. I need
or that
3
I could
more.
be at risk. Because I
Three more
promised
likes
him
on my
to
feed.
shower.
At risk of what?
He didn't believe that the guy was in Monterey. He thought he could drive back. Something could happen. He kind of made me feel vain for wanting to shower before I got on the road. Not that I could have showered later.
Okay. Now, this jealousy you're talking about, was this expressed when you arrived? You were supposed to meet Mr. Alexander in Southern California, right?
Yes.
Was this something that was displayed before you got there or when you arrived, or perhaps both?
Over the phone on the way there.
And do you recall, I know you said you don't know which trip it was, do you recall how long it took you to get to the place where you were going to meet Mr. Alexander?
I left in the late morning and arrived shortly before sunset. I don't remember, maybe 6-7 hours.
Okay. So several hours later, when you get there, is this jealousy about the showers that's still an issue?
No, not at this point. He was with Josh Ward, so he wasn't really displaying that.
Was it brought up at any point in time later during this trip?
It's something he didn't really let me live down for a while, but it didn't lead to any major fights.
Now, this trip to Southern California, you say you don't recall where it was. Is that accurate, where you went?
I think we were flying to New York at that point.
Okay. And this is summer of 2007, right?
Yes.
Had you expressed, I know you told us you hadn't in May, had you expressed to Mr. Alexander that you loved him?
No.
Had he expressed to you that he loved you?
No. Well, we did way back before our relationship, but while
They
we were dating, it was
waited?
I love you too.
Did you say they waited?
Now, you mentioned you were flying to New York. Why were the two of you flying to New York?
Well, there was more church history, places that were significant to the history of the church there. And I had won a trip to Huntington Beach for some of my production in the company Preview Legal. So I put him on my ticket as the extra person, and we decided to use one of the flights to fly from Rochester to LAX instead of just driving there, so that we could actually get out to New York for half the price and then have Preview Legal pay for our flight back.
Okay. Just so we're clear as well then, on this trip, you said you flew into Rochester, New York. Is that right?
Yes, we
Okay.
did. Wait, we flew into Cleveland on the way there, flew back from Rochester to LAX.
Okay. Let me just ask you this for clarification then. Was it just you and Travis on this trip to New York?
Yes.
And you said this was to be another church history trip, right?
Well, church history, and there were other travel goals that we had also at the time.
What do you mean by travel goals?
In that same spring, Travis had discovered a book called 1,000 Places to See Before You Die, and he thought it would be a cool goal to have, maybe a lifetime goal to try to check off as many places as he could. And I began to join him in that pursuit. And so Niagara Falls is on the list. So while we were out east, we saw Niagara Falls and the Finger Lakes in upstate New York and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio.
And you said these, 1,000 places to see before you die. And this trip was, and also included church history. So it had a dual purpose, I guess. Is what you're
Yes.
saying. Okay.
Travis's goals is the most millennial thing ever. Yes, the Finger Lakes. You got to see the Finger Lakes before you die. It's a very American, right? Like, we're not traveling around the world.
Arias, I'd like to show you the mark as a exhibit 435 and 432.
His bucket list
I'd
was
like to
cut
begin
short.
without telling me about them, just let us know if you recognize either of those photographs.
Yes.
Listen, people, this is how evidence is admitted, unlike the Whitmer kidnapping trial.
Mm.
I'm going to move to admit exhibits 432 and 435.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the appellate trial. The appellate court said that this trial was riddled with misconduct. I'm not seeing
From the
it yet.
prosecutor, yeah, I'm not. I mean, a couple of things. He did the photograph. He dropped the camera. He did the photograph thing where he threw the photograph of Travis dead up on the projector without any warning, and it wasn't relevant. And then he left it up there when he went to sidebar and stuff. So I see that, but those are the only two things thus far.
Yeah.
But I want to see how his cross is of Jodi. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
May I vote aye, the witness, please?
You may.
Ma'am, with regard to these photographs, exhibit number 435, was Mr. Alexander the person that took this photograph?
I believe he took both of those.
So exhibit 432, he also took those. Exhibit 435, is this the one from Niagara Falls?
If it's got the water in the background, that's the
Right.
one.
And exhibit number 432, it's got some trees in the back. What was that?
The Sacred Grove in Palmyra, New York.
I don't have any objection.
432 and 435 are admitted.
This strip, I've been showing you what's been marked exhibit 435.
Yeah, a decade makes a big difference
Yeah.
in law processes.
Yeah.
Is that coming in
That's
clear on your screen,
Tequamanon
Jay?
Falls.
Yes.
They're lying.
This was taken at, based on what
Niagara
you
Falls.
said moments ago, this was taken at Niagara Falls, right?
Yes.
And this was
They
part
were
of
in
the
New
trip we're
York
talking
and had
about,
that
Jesus
background
Lee,
photo,
100,000
and then they
bucks,
took the
60
selfie.
right?
Yes.
In this photograph, it appears that you and Mr. Alexander were physically affectionate, acting like a couple, for lack of a better way of putting it. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah, before this,
Was that
before
the way it was throughout this entire trip?
before April of 2008, she was always blonde, and so that's what you saw a lot of in the pretrial stuff. And then, but now, since this trial is now 10 years old, all you think about her as brunette, and when you see her as blonde, it looks weird. It's just funny.
Yeah. Yeah, but they did get pictures in that was a week, 10 days before the murder when she was actually
A brunette.
had brown hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because
And-
blondes have more fun, Indigo.
And that was in, they tried to impeach that rental car guy because he who claimed he recognized her from the driver's license photo where she was blonde, but they showed that no, she was a brunette when she rented the car. So that's a bit interesting.
That trip, we acted that way, but it was a pretense.
What do you mean a pretense?
I found out by that point that he was cheating on me, and I just didn't want to bring all the drama because our tickets were bought and paid for, and we couldn't refund him. I couldn't change his name on the ticket. I didn't want him to be totally miserable, even though I was miserable.
Okay. So this trip, before you went on this trip to Cleveland and Niagara Falls and various other places, you had discovered that Mr.
Well, she's
Alexander
better
cheated
on
on
her.
you.
Yes.
How did you discover that?
We were in, I think, Sandy, Utah, at his friend Dave's house. We had just returned from Daniel Summit, which is a place up in the mountains near Park City. And I had been getting my suspicions about things. He was treating me a little differently, a little more distant, a lot more flirty with other women, and it just made me uncomfortable.
All
When I
of
tried
her
to talk to him
exes
about
cheated
it-
on her.
He blew up and got very defensive, even though I didn't accuse him of anything. So it was kind of a red flag. He assured me he was only dating me. I left it at that. We went on our trip. There were a couple of things that stuck out on the trip too, at Daniel Summit, but I ignored it. And then we got back to Dave's house, and he was taking a nap one day, and he left his phone wedged between two cushions in the couch in the living room. And he was in another bedroom sleeping, and I figured, I didn't know if he was being honest with me. I had a feeling he wasn't, and I wanted to know if I should continue in this relationship or if I should give him the benefit of the doubt. I've been cheated on before, so I thought maybe it's just past emotional baggage. I'm reading into things that aren't there. So I saw his phone, and I debated whether or not I should look in it, and I was kind of sitting there and tapping my fingers, and finally I snatched it, and I went into the bathroom and shut the door, and I was clicking around on his phone. He had a touch screen. It was a smartphone. I didn't really know how to use it, but I found the text messages and began to read them.
And without telling us what they said, it was based on those text messages in Mr. Alexander's phone that you believed he was not being faithful with you.
Yes.
Was there a particular person you believed that he was dating after you saw these text messages?
No, there weren't too many names. There were just a lot of phone numbers, and it wouldn't have been a person. It was several people, many different phone numbers.
So this trip, when we see this photograph, you talk about acting as a couple, but you're miserable. You say you've done this because the trip was already planned and you don't want to cause any chaos or any problems. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. This trip with him in New York, how long was it?
I think we flew out on June 18th or something and got back, I want to say like a week. I don't recall exactly.
Okay. Was there sexual interaction between you two on this trip?
I think there was, but I don't recall specifics.
Why do you say you think there was?
Because there usually was when we traveled.
Well, let me ask you, did you, on these travels, did you share the same hotel room?
Yes.
Same bed?
Yes.
Were you in love with Travis in this photograph?
Yes.
After he raped you twice.
And
Let me show you
allegedly
the marks.
cheated.
That's exhibit 432. Where was this taken?
It's called the Sacred Grove, and it's in Palmyra, New York.
Could you describe for us, for those of us who don't know, what is the Sacred
So
Grove?
boring. She is.
The
She
Sacred
is
Grove
so
is
boring.
an important place in the history of the church because it was where Joseph Smith received what's called the first vision, where he was in this grove praying. I think it was in 1820 or somewhere around there. And two heavenly beings appeared before him, and it was the Father and Jesus Christ.
Joseph Smith had a competitor too.
So
They
as
ended up in
a
Michigan.
member of the Mormon Church, you wanted to visit this place, is that correct?
Yes.
Would it be considered a romantic spot to you or for members of your church?
I think my understanding is that a lot of church members get engaged when they go there, and Travis had complained that was a cliche before going, so I wasn't expecting any kind of romantic interaction.
You mean you weren't expecting a proposal?
Definitely not a proposal, not after reading his phone.
But as it relates to you seeing what you saw on his phone prior to the trip, did Travis know about this during this trip?
That I knew.
Did he know that he'd been caught?
No, I didn't tell him.
So for 7 days then on this trip, you grin and bear it, so to speak, because you don't want to cause any kind of fight or any kind of confrontation during that week, right?
Yeah, more or less.
And I say specifically related to his being unfaithful. You didn't bring that up the whole week.
No.
The trip itself, was it then harmonious or were there fights anyway?
We did have a fight in Ohio. It was just a little, I don't remember. It was an argument, and he kept asking me throughout the trip, what's wrong, what's wrong? I just kept saying nothing. I was trying to just act like nothing. Everything was okay.
What was your plan in your mind? Were you going to just break up with him when you got back to California? Did you have a plan?
My initial plan when I found the phone, or the text messages in the phone, was to break up with him. I didn't want to cause a lot of drama at Dave's house, so I decided we would wait till we got back to Mesa. And when we got to Mesa, Travis was kind of domineering, so I didn't want to, I was worried about confronting him. He got very upset last time. I even hinted at it without even accusing him of anything.
That's
So-
a good,
Hang on a second, Jodi, before you get
that's a
too
good
far down the
summary,
road.
Malcolm.
You said when you returned to Mesa, weren't you still living at Big Sur at the end
Yeah,
of the
I'm sorry, we flew back to, we flew to LAX that time. So then we had the Huntington Beach thing, and then we had Disneyland one more time, and then I was gonna do it.
Okay.
Is it
So
excited in the chat?
obviously, you didn't have to be back at your job at Big Sur for an extended period of time, right?
Yeah, about a week, I think I took off.
But you said you landed and you went to Disneyland and that sort of thing. You didn't have a job to go back to,
I did.
but you still had some days off in
Yes.
LA?
Yes, we had four nights, 5 days in Huntington Beach.
Okay. The Huntington Beach trip, that was work-related, is that right? Prepaid legal?
Yeah, it was a reward, being work-related.
Was it strictly a vacation or was it also a meeting?
It was mostly vacation, mostly leisure. There was like maybe a few speeches given, but it wasn't centered on training or anything like that.
Did you and Mr. Alexander share a hotel room when you stayed at Huntington Beach?
Yes,
Was there sexual activity during that meeting at Huntington Beach?
Yeah.
I believe there was.
Well, there are some instances where Jodi might have caused some drama.
Yeah, no, she definitely was into the drama. She creates the drama, right? She creates this drama. I feel like she's needy, she's immature, and then in response, she creates this drama to try to get that where people feel something for her again. I can't really explain it, but I've seen these people.
Yeah.
I think the part that's hard to understand, Jodi, is this idea that you just didn't end it.
Objection, bouncing, hard to understand. Oh, you know.
Reprise.
Explain to us why after a trip to New York, you're grinning and bearing it, you get back to California, why are you still willing to put up with this?
I think I was in denial at the time. I knew what was going on, and I think it was a convenient reason to deny it because we had this vacation that was paid for. There was no refunding it. If we had changed flights and things like that, it would have cost even more fees.
But I'm talking about when you got back to Huntington
Baker
Beach.
will fix her.
You're back from New York, there's no flights, there's nothing.
I mean, I couldn't imagine him kicking him off the trip and saying, "Get out of my room." He was there, and
Why not?
we had friends that there's a lot of things to do in Huntington Beach. There are shops on the sidewalks and restaurants, and there's the beach itself, and there were pools and
Okay,
hot tubs.
it's a great place, and I'm sure both of you wanted to be there, and Travis probably wanted to be there, but that doesn't really get to my question. My question is, why aren't you done with him at that point in time? Why don't you kick him out of your room?
I didn't have a lot of self-esteem at that time, and I was kind of a doormat, and I didn't assert myself, and I was in denial, and I knew it had to happen. I wanted to hurry up and get it over with because that was going to be the hard part. I knew the relationship couldn't continue like that. I was kind of waiting for the right moment to tell him.
And while you're waiting for the right moment, you're still, to your recollection, not specific days or times, but you're still engaging in sexual activity with him while you're waiting for this right moment, right?
Yes, on occasion.
Why was that okay with you?
Well, sometimes when we did those things, it made me feel loved, depending on how he acted during the incident.
During the sexual interaction, right?
Yeah.
You felt,
Yes, and
when you were,
we are
what you
into
seem to be
day
telling us is
16,
that when you
morning of day 16.
were engaging in sexual behavior with Mr. Alexander, you felt completely loved. By him.
At times.
At times. When you were not having sexual interactions with him, did you also feel, to use your words, completely loved?
Objection, those are counsel's words, not the witness's words. Completely left. Use them.
Exactly what you said.
Let me answer.
Will you repeat it? I'm sorry.
I'm going to try. You told us earlier that when you had these sexual interactions with Mr. Alexander, you felt completely loved, right?
Yes.
And what I was asking is, how about the times when these sexual interactions weren't going on? Did you feel that same sense of being completely loved?
There were some moments during that trip where we connected. It was actually more painful when we connected than when we didn't connect.
What do you mean by that?
Because it was a reminder of how much I loved him, and when we weren't connecting, it was easier to start distancing myself from him, even though that became kind of impossible. When we were getting along, it was almost like I could pretend that I never really saw any of those things in his phone.
At this point in time, had he told you he loved you?
Not since we had begun officially dating.
Okay. Now, apart from Huntington Beach, did you and Mr. Alexander go anywhere else before you returned to Big Sur?
What is Ken's
Yes,
counseling coach
my
saying?
friend Jeff drove us to Disneyland.
Leave that right there.
Okay.
I'm just leaving it right there. Oh, it says I did not. Okay, I thought it said I did. I was like, oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Is anyone buying her stories? I said she seemed. I felt sympathetic to her the last couple of days of trial, and I figured out because I find her stories more credible to some extent. It doesn't justify the stabby part. But now I'm finding her less credible again, and therefore less sympathetic.
Yeah. Is she wearing a tight sweater for the men on the jury?
I don't know if that would
I
call
don't
that
know
tight
if she
sweater.
was. Was she out on bail or was she in prison?
She was in prison. She was in prison.
Yeah.
She has this thing around her waist, and it goes down her legs that lock her into place if she tries to run. But she has been in prison since she was picked up in Arizona.
Yeah, so this is
4 years prior to
probably
this.
those clothes she's wearing are probably loner clothes.
Now she sounds like she stabbed him. Yeah, I agree with you. I am the princess. Absolutely. She does sound like she stabbed him. I think she's trying to justify it. But nothing she says is going to justify it in my mind. At least nothing that she said thus far. Now, if she says, he came at me and tried to kill me in that moment, and I had no choice but to stabby, fine. But when she says that, the question is she believable?
Yeah. And you also have to take in account everything she did before and after.
Yep.
And all the lying and all the redirect and pushing away and all the stories.
Yep. I am a princess.
And you said your friend drove you, but did the three of you go to Disneyland or was it just you and Travis?
Just Travis
Let's
and I, he dropped us off.
push to 1 hour even here, and
this
so
was
Baker,
while
you
this
can
was
start
part of
your
the
stream,
Huntington
and we
trip,
will
is that-
redirect to
Yeah, this is
you.
all one
Sounds good.
same trip.
Okay. And when you and Mr. Alexander were at Disneyland, were you holding hands? Were you acting like boyfriend and girlfriend?
Somewhat. It was just kind of dull, like the park didn't have the same magic as it did before because of everything that was going on.
What do you mean everything that was going on?
Inside, like my
I
inner
was literally
turmoil
just
with
going to ask her that.
the knowledge that I was, I guess, cursed with, sort of.
Did you get along?
That wasn't
okay
really
at
the
Disneyland,
question,
or were there
though,
any
was it?
Arguments?
I remember us getting along pretty well.
Okay. So now this trip to Huntington Beach comes to an end. A few days later, I would assume, right? After you go to Disneyland?
Yes, after Disneyland, I don't remember where I stayed, but we hung out in Riverside for a while.
Okay, that is an hour into day 16. We have done a 2-hour live stream, and I'm checking here.
We actually covered a lot of the trial, unlike last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't find this credible in any way, shape, or form.
No, she
had me for a minute, and then she just sort of retracted really quickly.
Yeah.
She seems to say somewhat a lot. Yeah, she says somewhat, and there's another word that she uses too, but it's kind of minimizes her answers, right? So she can always walk out of an answer. So if she says, well, somewhat, yes, and then if she's pressed on that on cross-examination, she can say, well, it wasn't always, it was somewhat, right? So she's always trying to constantly stay ahead of where, leaving herself an exit, it sounds like. She's not the poster child for Disney nor Niagara. Yeah.
No, not quite. Not quite.
Not quite. Maybe
Yeah.
if she wore like goofy underwear, she'd be better.
Oh. What kind of underwear? It was superhero underwear. Is it these? Yeah, it looks like. Could you put them on and show?
Yeah, right. Hey, Soul Souffle. Thank you for jumping in chat, and you're welcome. Oh, and Cool Frog is here too. All you guys popping in, lurking in the background. But welcome. Thank you all. Ooh, wait, hang on. We got to check here. Let's see. Nicholas, you have 79 likes. Really? I got to check mine. I have 75. Oh, 76. Well, I'm still 3 short of tying you.
Oh,
Next
poor
time.
David.
Next time, I'm going to be
Next
in
time.
control. Actually, next
Next
time
time.
I'm not going to be here. Actually, so next time, Steve Gosney will be playing the role of MLS.
Yeah.
And he is
because-
my senior court reporter, so that'll fit in perfectly.
Yeah, so Steve Gosney will join us on Tuesday because David is in transit.
That's right.
So that will be interesting to get his input from this trial.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what Steve has to say about this. 78 MLS. Ooh,
Yeah.
Did I get up 78? I'm 1 short. Ooh, 79. Woohoo. Oh, but you got to 81. Damn it.
Yeah, but I saw that Baker have started, so here we are.
You guys go enjoy the
Total.
Broken Baker. He's got awesome streams.
Yep.
If you guys haven't watched him before, go check him out. Give him a like. Tell him we sent you. Subscribe to him. He's Danish, but don't hold it against him.
Once you go -6, that's all they're going to remember. Even okay.
Yeah.
Yep. But thank you all for showing up today on Jodi-day. Tomorrow I will have my Serial Killer Sunday.
Yes.
I haven't had it in a couple of weeks because of engagements and hangovers and stuff like that. And but tomorrow there will be Serial Killer Sunday, where I think we are up to the last witness in the Jeffrey Dahmer trial.
Nice.
So that will be interesting.
I
Okay.
am going to have something on Whitmer later this weekend, either later today or tomorrow. I'm going to continue the Whitmer trial as my schedule permits. So keep an eye out for that, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. See you around. Tell Baker we said hi. Bye.
Bye.